Right now on News 3, a ripple effect of the government shutdown while a local man says he's having trouble getting his identity back.
A busy day for Wisconsin's new governor. His plan for funding the state's education system coming up.
And later, the Packers introduce a new head coach for the first time in almost 13 years.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us tonight. From the White House to Capitol Hill and back again, President Trump makes the rounds in Washington to shore up support for his border security demands.
But the partial government shutdown now at day 19 still seems far from over, with neither side budging. Democratic leaders emerged from the White House yet again with no solution. They say the president walked out of the meeting early after they refused to approve money for a border wall. The president tweeted that the meeting was a, quote, total waste of time. A Fitchburg man says his Social Security number was stolen.
And due to the shutdown, he's unable to report it to the feds. Our Keely Arthur has the story and shares what you can do if you find yourself in a similar situation. Keely?
Zachary Merritt's tried doing everything the government tells you to do when your identity is stolen. Unfortunately for him, with the government shutdown, he's unable to complete those steps.
Come here, buddy.
With a full-time job and an infant, Zachary Merritt has a lot on his plate already.
You go smiles.
Recently, though, his stress level reached an all-new high when he found out his Social Security number was stolen.
Like every morning I wake up and I'm like, all right, what else do they open? What else do I have to try and close down? What else am I going to have to spend time doing when I should be spending time with my son and family?
It began on Sunday. He got a phone call from a free alert system that he was the victim of retail theft when an unknown person walked into an AT&T store in McKenna, Illinois, and opened up an account under his name.
What I know is they had my social, current address, previous address, wife's name, son's name.
To make matters worse, when he looked up what to do, he was told to report the situation to the Federal Trade Commission at identitytheft.gov.
That made sense to me. I went out to the website and I was presented with a very, very cheaply, quickly made website that says, due to the shutdown, we're closed.
Because of the government shutdown, Merritt is unable to have his account flagged.
I'm pretty much at the liberty of this person hopefully not opening up accounts. I imagine that if I can flag it, that would stop them from opening up these accounts.
If this happens to you, the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection recommends to pull a copy of your credit report and file a fraud alert with all 3 major credit bureaus. Also, report the fraud to your specific financial institutions. All things Merritt has done, but with the government shut down, he's in limbo.
I'm feeling violated. I'm feeling left in the dust. And what else can I do?
He tried to work with the McKenna Police Department and AT&T to learn more about his identity theft. He says they've been as helpful as the federal government.
All right, Keely Arthur reporting tonight. Keely, thank you.
Food banks across the state are also getting ready for an increase of people seeking help during the shutdown. The president of Feeding America of Eastern Wisconsin says the organization is preparing extra food at several food pantries. President Trump's administration announced yesterday that the federal food stamp program will be funded through February.
Well, for the first time in nearly 13 years, the Packers formally introduce a new head coach this afternoon. They made it official yesterday with 39-year-old Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator most recently for the Titans. And this afternoon, the team introduced LaFleur during an event at Lambeau Field, and we'll hear from him in just a few minutes coming up in sports. But we turn it over to weather now. Temperatures have sharply fallen over the past couple of days. Making things worse is the wind out there, making it feel like single digits today in Madison. We check in now with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti on the backyard patio with our first alert forecast. Gary?
But Eric, you know, while everybody's lamenting the lack of snow around here, that's one thing that keeps our temperatures from being a lot colder than they could be. As we take a look at visible cloud track, we had sunny skies through much of the Midwest. You can clearly see the snow on the ground across western Minnesota back into eastern South Dakota, but notice the lack of snow over southern Wisconsin. So once the sun came out, it was actually able to warm up the ground a little bit, keeping our temperatures from getting too cold. On Doppler track, you can see some lake effect snows on the other side of Lake Michigan, downwind from Lake Superior, but southern Wisconsin right now free of precipitation. Low temperatures this morning generally in the teens, middle teens. High temperatures today were around 20, and in fact, as we look at our current temperatures, are not far above our low temperatures. They're in the middle teens. You factor in winds that are in the 10 to 20 mile per hour range out of the northwest, and we're seeing wind chills now in the single digits, a few places approaching 0, and there could be some sub-zero wind chills later on tonight. By By tomorrow morning, those temperatures will drop to around 11 degrees. There'll be a period of clouds late tonight that will keep our temperatures from getting too cold. Then we'll turn partly sunny for tomorrow with a high temperature of 26, back up to average for this time of year. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. One of the main challenges many Wisconsin schools face is funding.
A bipartisan task force of lawmakers is making recommendations to help solve those issues. Rose Schmidt is here to tell us where Governor Evers stands on these proposals.
Yes, well, Governor Evers says he intends on following through on his campaign promises regarding education. He has proposed increasing funding for public schools by $1.4 billion. Evers has said that is a provision that will be in his state budget proposal, but today he would not say whether he will include recommendations made last week by a legislative task force on school funding. A report shows the commission is calling for the state to fund schools 2/3 of their total costs and allowing local property taxes to go up. Senator Howard Markline says Democratic and Republican lawmakers contributed their ideas, and they're looking forward to working with Evers.
We are going to put together our budget that we created at the Department of Public Instruction. Going forward in the negotiations with the legislature, we can see where the points of intersection are.
Governor Evers has certainly had a very conciliatory tone. He wants to work together. I think he's identified some of the key issues that I campaigned on as well.
Today, Evers announced the creation of the STAR Student Program, which allows Wisconsin teachers to recognize excellent children for their accomplishments. And Governor Evers appeared at 2 public events in Madison today, and tomorrow he will visit a DMV office in Wausau.
Rose, thank you. Governor Evers will close out his first week in office by visiting the troubled Lincoln Hills Youth Prison in Irma. In a statement today, Governor Evers said he will make the trip in order to get a better understanding of the problems at the facility. Current plans call for Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake prisons to be closed by 2021 after they had been the subject of lawsuits and scrutiny over the last few years. Last year, Governor Walker shut down the prisons in favor of a series of county-run regional facilities. Lincoln Hills will be repurposed as a facility specializing in drug treatment. Governor Evers will also be sending a letter to Attorney General Josh Call this week, calling for Wisconsin to change our stance in a multi-state lawsuit seeking repeal of the federal health care law. Evers campaigned on withdrawing from the lawsuit, but in the lame duck session, the Republican-controlled legislature created a law that would require legislative approval to be removed from the lawsuit.
State Representative Peter Barca has officially resigned from the legislature to join Governor Evers' cabinet. Governor Evers picked Barca, a Kenosha Democrat, to lead the State Department of Revenue last week. He was sworn into the Assembly on Monday and then turned in his resignation letter later that day. Evers can now schedule a special election to fill Barca's seat. Barca served in the legislature from 1985 until 1993, served 1 term in Congress, 1 election to the Assembly again in 2009, and has served continuously since then. A pharmaceutical drug supplier to Shopko says the Wisconsin-based retail chain is expected to file for bankruptcy next week during a court hearing with McKesson Corp., who says it has supplied Shopko with $67 million in drugs since November and has not been paid since early December. The company's attorney said Shopko plans to file for bankruptcy protection January 15th. Neither Shopko nor its parent company, Sun Capital Partners, have publicly commented. A Sauk County Board supervisor was cited this week for retail theft after he was identified from surveillance photos. On Saturday, Reedsburg police took 2 theft reports from local businesses that provided similar suspect descriptions. A still photo of the suspect was posted on social media. He was identified as 51-year-old Wally Zuprinko from Lake Delton. Police talked to him over the phone. He admitted to the thefts. According to police, the value of that stolen property was less than $10.
In Rock County, 6 people are in police custody after an arrest tied to a crash and a domestic dispute. Last night, Janesville police responded to a crash outside of the Falling Creek Village neighborhood. By the time they arrived, the suspects had left the scene. Police caught up with them down the road in a different car. All 6 people in that vehicle were arrested, including 2 juveniles. Police say all were leaving the scene of a domestic disturbance where a woman was allegedly beaten with a hammer. There is no update on her condition. The Reedstown Police Department is warning people about counterfeit $100 bills being passed in the area. There have been reports of counterfeit bills circulating in the village of Muscadet, Richland Center, and the village of Avoca. The 3 police departments arrested 1 suspect but are continuing to investigate the fraud. Still ahead tonight, more cold weather is on the way, but when can we expect to see more snow? Gary will have his updated forecast.
But first, a proposal to build a stadium at a local high school is put on hold as the school works to find some common ground with neighbors. The city of Madison expects to give out nearly $25,000 in grants this year to help residents clean up neighborhoods and develop their communities. The grant gives neighborhoods, businesses, and resident groups the ability to create public gathering places and leadership groups. According to city officials, the program has helped create more than 300 projects since its formation back in 1999. For more information on those grants and how to apply, you can head to channel3000.com. UW-Madison will host a meat competition later this month. Today, the university announced it'll be hosting a satellite contest of the IFFA Quality Competition at the Discovery Building, January 21st through the 25th. The main competition is held every 3 years in Frankfurt, Germany. This is just the second time the organization has held a competition outside Frankfurt.
The proposal to build a stadium at Edgewood High School was slated to appear before the Madison Plan Commission Monday, but is now being delayed. The proposal would allow the school to build a 1,000-person stadium with 80-foot-tall light poles and amplified sound less than 100 feet away from the nearest private residence. Most people living in that area are opposed to the idea. Mike Elliott, president of Edgewood High School, says the school offered a compromise to the neighborhood for fewer games and earlier ending times for the majority of the games. Tag Evers, with no new stadium, says the school's compromise isn't good enough.
So if you're going to have 25 games that will last past 8 o'clock with crowd noise that cannot be effectively mitigated, that imposes harm on the neighborhood that Edgewood is just now beginning to acknowledge.
The Dudgeon Monroe Neighborhood Association, which opposes the amendment, says they need more time to review the counter proposal.
Still ahead tonight in sports, big day in Green Bay. Matt LaFleur introduced as the new head coach of the Packers. We'll take you to the event at Lambeau Field in just a few minutes.
But first, wind chills stay in the single digits tonight, and there is a chance for some snow before the end of the week. Gary Canalti will have his extended forecast when we come back.
All right, taking a look at our forecast now. Gary Canalti.
Well, skies are mostly clear, and that's going to allow our temperatures to drop off pretty rapidly, at least for a little while, and then we'll see some clouds move in late tonight, and that'll probably keep us from getting all that cold. But you can see high temperatures yesterday were in the 30s to lower 40s. Of course, these were early in the day here. Look at the high temperatures for today, about 20 degrees colder thanks to the brisk northwesterly winds. But the snow cover is pretty much concentrated in the far northern parts of the Midwest. That cold air coming from the northwest has a ways to travel over ground that doesn't have any snow on it, so it has a chance to actually warm up a little bit, and that keeps us from getting as cold as we could be otherwise. And you can see those winds are also lightening up to the north and west, so it's not going to be quite as brisk. Wind chills have become a little more tolerable, mainly in the single digits. Still some heavy lake effect snows downwind from Lake Superior and on the other side of Lake Michigan. The high temperature trend over the next 7 days. Back to average temperatures for tomorrow with a high of 26, and then temperatures above normal in the 30s to around 40 through through all of next week. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook calls for above normal temperatures here. The highest probability is starting to shift to the west as a little change in the overall weather pattern brings us some more northwesterly wind flow and actually keeps colder than normal weather in New England, and also keeps the main storm track into the northwestern part of the country. We still have slightly elevated chances for above normal precipitation, but that'll be mainly in the form of some light snow or flurries. Live view from the Edgewater Sky Cam at downtown Madison. Looks pretty out there, but still it is chilly. Our high today 20, the low temperature 14, and right now we're just above that low for the day. We're at 16 with mostly clear skies. Winds out of the north-northwest at 9 miles per hour give us a wind chill of 4 degrees. In fact, Dave Caulfield was doing some investigation. It has been 329 days since the last time our temperatures dropped into the single digits. That's the longest stretch in Madison history. The previous stretch is 324 days, and that's back in 1987. And if we don't drop below 10 degrees for tonight, it may be another week and a half before we see the next chance for temperatures to get that cold. So it has been a mild stretch of weather around here. Cold temperatures this morning, you can see to the north and west, single digits there. We were in the mid-teens, but current temperatures are already in the teens. But notice to the north and west, it's about as cold there as it is here. So our temperatures aren't going to fall off as dramatically as they did last night. And wind chills, single digits below zero across Minnesota, single digits above zero here. As those winds die down, it won't be quite as brisk, and wind chills should hover around zero, give or take a couple of degrees overnight. Northwesterly winds aloft eventually become southwesterly out to the west of us, so this cold snap will be just a passing blow. The cold air will shift off toward New England. This cold front will head mainly toward New England, so the next shot of cold air will kind of miss us to the north, and temperatures that are in the single digits and teens here warm up into the 30s and 40s farther to the west, and our temperatures should rebound back into the 30s by Friday. So northwesterly winds continue overnight, and there's that little passing patch of clouds. And then tomorrow by late afternoon, those winds are already out of the southeast, and that will bring temperatures back up to the 30s by Friday. 11 for the overnight low temperature with clearer skies and colder conditions, maybe a few clouds late. Wind chills up 5 above to 5 below zero. Tomorrow's high temperature 26 under mostly sunny skies. As we check out future track, here's that little patching pass of clouds that'll keep our temperatures from falling probably below the 10-degree mark, and then highs tomorrow will be in the mid-20s. Tomorrow night, those temperatures stay nearly steady around 20, and then on Friday, look for high temperatures in the lower 30s. 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures continue a day-by-day climb upwards by a couple of degrees. Chance of light snow from late Friday into Saturday morning, then maybe a chance for some flurries Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning. A better chance for some light snow at the end of next week. Temperatures, though, staying above normal.
The Packers show off their new head coach, and the big question is, how will he get along with his quarterback? The story's coming up in sports.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carolla. Tonight on the News at 9, a piece of technology many people wear every day will lead to better performance from medical staff. We'll explain how. It's only on Fox at 9.
Matt LaFleur looks like he's just old enough to drive, but at age 39, the Packers are giving him the keys to the car, introducing him as the 15th head coach in franchise history today in Green Bay. LaFleur's been coaching for 18 years, 10 of the last 11 years in the NFL, most recently as offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Now, he's worked with some pretty good quarterbacks, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota. Now, the question on everyone's mind, how will he work with one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, Aaron Rodgers?
I did have the opportunity to talk to Aaron, and I'll tell you what, I cannot wait to, get to work with him. I think he's equally as excited, and there's a lot of work to be done in front of us, but, just looking forward to that opportunity. There's an incredible amount of talent here, and it all, obviously, anytime you got a quarterback of the caliber of Aaron Rodgers, certainly we're going to have high expectations.
LaFleur represents a trend in the NFL, hiring a young, up-and-coming coach with fresh ideas on offense. The Packers interviewed 10 guys for their head coaching position, but when they met with LaFleur, it didn't take long to realize that he was their guy to take over in Green Bay.
I'm really, really excited. I think we have found a gem in Matt, and really excited about the future under his leadership.
We're ready to get after it, and I think we got the perfect candidate to lead us to where we want to go. There's one goal here, always has been one goal. That's to win world championships, and we're excited to get started.
Mike McCarthy wants one job and one job only, head coach of the New York Jets. McCarthy doesn't want to be considered for anything else, just the Jets head coaching position. More head coaching hires today. The Cleveland Browns promote offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens to head coach. And the big news for Packer fans, and more specifically Bears fans, Chicago's defensive coordinator Vic Fangio is now head coach of the Denver Broncos. Now that goes against the grain of recent head coaching hires. Fangio is 60 years old. He's been an NFL assistant for over 30 years. And his calling card is defense, while everyone else in the NFL seems to be going for more offense. And happy birthday to Packers legend Bart Starr, who turns 85 years old today. Starr played for 16 seasons for the Packers, leading them to the first 2 Super Bowl titles, despite being a 17th-round draft pick in 1956. Starr continues to struggle with health issues, but he's hanging in there on his 85th birthday today. We're all set to go with our next Prep Mania game of the week. Tomorrow night, we'll have boys basketball in the Badgers South Conference as Stoughton and Monona Grove do battle in Monona. John Boyle joins me for the game, and we hope you will too, 7:15 tomorrow night on channel3000.com. So a Kansas City TV news helicopter stumbled into this. As it was passing by Kauffman Stadium where the Kansas City Royals played, they noticed someone was playing Mario Kart 8 on the big scoreboard in center field. Now, the Royals say it was part of an associates fundraiser to kick off the year, and you can bid on playing your own game in an auction in March, but who wouldn't want to play Mario Kart on a 105-foot by 85-foot screen? Know any kids that want to play on a 9,000 square foot monitor?
Well, like Donkey
Yes.
Kong or
Truly a big screen.
Space Invaders?
yeah, Pong. Remember?
Pong, yeah.
That's the ultimate video game
There you
screen.
go.
Let's go to Gary. One final check of the forecast.
Well, at least it wasn't quite as cold in Kansas City as it was here today, but even this cold weather is only going to last for a day or two. 16 the current temperature right now. Those temperatures will start slowing their fall overnight, so these wind chills that are in the single digits above zero could briefly drop below zero at times overnight, but it should not be too bitterly cold. Otherwise, high temperature back to average, 26 for tomorrow, 33 Friday, some light snow late Friday night into Saturday morning. Then those temperatures continue to climb through the 30s, get up to around 40 on Tuesday, and then a little drop in temperatures for the second half of next week. But again, with the average high of 26, that's still way above normal, at least through Saturday. Maybe some light snow Saturday could lead to a change toward colder weather beyond the 10-day forecast, but it's always down the road.
And not having that snow on the ground
Makes a
keeps us warmer.
big deal around here.
All right. Thank you, Gary, and thanks for joining us for News 3 at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.